Guest. This is Howard Ray is a 13-year veteran of the Army. He is medically retired as a sergeant. He is also a survivor of the 2009 Major Hassan shooting at Fort Hood. So I want to welcome Howard Ray up here as our next speaker.
Well, good morning, you gun nuts. How are y'all? All right, great. Well, as CJ mentioned, my name is Howard Ray. It's been 13 wonderful years in the United States Army protecting this country. And unfortunately, on November 5th, 2009, that nearly came to an end. And of course, we know that this terroristic attack did end the lives of 14 men and women, or 13 men and women, one unborn child, and 32 others were wounded that day. One of the things that I've learned as a result of that day was to never be without your gun. See, I was in civilian clothes that day. I wasn't on Fort Hood at the beginning of the day, but I was scheduled to be there for an appointment, and that appointment is exactly what brought me to Fort Hood on November 5th, 2009 at 1 o'clock. I walked into the room. I looked at my brothers in arms, most of which were combat veterans. And I looked at them and I said, I love you. Just halfway joking. If any of you have been in the military, you know the kind of satire and humor that we get out of messing with each other. And what ultimately ended up happening is the group facilitator said, what? Do you think something's going to happen to us? Man, if I'd only known. Now, moving forward, I was given an award for saving the lives of 9 people that day. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you those 9 lives should have been protected with their constitutional right to carry. Yep. That shouldn't have come down to one person or one individual.
Absolutely.
To protect a certain group of people. See, our founders said that it was our right to carry. And unfortunately, draconian regulation, federal regulation, is what kept me from carrying that day. And I did have a shot on that terrorist, of which our president still refuses to call it terrorism. But I couldn't take that shot. All I could do was know that I had a lot of training and only one place to go. And that was away from that horrible place. Now, I stand before you today not just to tell you about my story and how it affects so many families of our United States military, because we also know that another shooting took place, not a terroristic shooting, but an actual shooting took place April 2nd of this last year. And again, our men and women were put in harm's way. All I'm saying is, whether it's soldiers or whether it's civilians, it doesn't matter because it's affected both. It doesn't matter if it's federal or state. We should apply the same appropriate amount of pressure on our elected representatives to make sure that they understand our constitutional rights. Now, what I'm not advocating for is that we violate people's private property rights. I'm not advocating that at all. And I don't think anybody else here is either. But what I am saying is that as we walk in the public, in those places, it should be our right, our constitutional right to carry as we see fit. And that's why I support House Bill 195, and I encourage each and every one of you to do what our founding fathers said. And that is to maintain liberty. Keep this republic. And I believe this is one of the bills that helps make that happen. Thank you so much for your time, and may God bless you.
Thank you.
He was talking about April 2nd last year. I was on Fort Hood that day, and I was in my office, and all of a sudden I hear on the big voice, they call it, which is kind of like the tornado sirens that you might hear in your towns or neighborhoods. But I hear, take cover, take cover, take cover. This is not a drill. Take cover, take cover, take cover. Lock your doors, lock your windows. This is Fort Hood. We have got over 10,000 people that are trained to take out threats, and we're being told to hunker down, lock yourself in a room in an office, and you don't know what's going on. We don't know if there's a bomber. We don't know if there's a shooting. We don't even know if we just locked ourselves in a building with the guy that's the threat. And as a guy who's got a concealed handgun license and a guy who carries everywhere I go, I could do nothing because I didn't have a gun on me. If I'd have locked myself in that building, I'd have been in the same position that Howard was in. Gun-free zones don't work. And that's another thing, people come to me and say, CJ, what are you going to do after you get constitutional carry and you get open carry? I mean, you're called Open Carry Texas, then what? Well, look at it as we believe in the open carry of firearms. It should be open to where we want to defend ourselves. It doesn't matter when, it doesn't matter where. So we also support things like campus carry bills. We also support getting rid of any type of government interference with our rights to keep and bear arms in certain places. Just because I might cross an imaginary line doesn't make me a criminal. Our last speaker that I want to introduce is Ms. Kathy Glass. She was the Libertarian gubernatorial candidate for governor this past election.